are starting. Foster, let the game begin. Chapter 8. So you're starting with create an identity and access management user. Right. Foster, you're on mute. Why were you talking?
Yes, I was talking. So right now, okay. So we switch back to our console.
Okay. Maybe I should pull this to my other screen. If I
Yeah,
pull it
sure.
to my other screen, you won't see it. But you have a copy at your end, so
Yeah,
I'm pulling
yeah.
it to
So
my
I
other
can
screen
leverage
now.
on that.
Okay,
I will
good.
leverage on that. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we have here. Okay. So the
All
first
right.
thing we are doing is to go to IAM, search
Yes.
for
So I
as a
am. So first of all, I am is a service under security.
mm,
So for the
okay.
purpose of those who will be visiting our lessons later,
Mm-hmm.
so I am is
Okay.
under security.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The security domain.
sure.
Okay. Oh, there's no MFA for root user, then MFA for yourself. So we'll get there. But for now, our focus is on creating an IAM
Creating
user.
a user.
That's the first thing. Creating an IAM user. And how do we go about creating an IAM user? Hmm.
So
So after
under
getting him, we can
when you
see the
learn
various. Yeah, I'm listening.
under as identity and access management, we
Mm-hmm.
target the access management. Under access
Okay.
management, we are creating a new user, a new
New
IAM
user.
user. So we locate a
Okay.
user, which is users.
Users.
We click on
Okay.
users.
So this users. Great. So at the moment we have two users stored here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I can see Obeng and I can see
Yeah.
Ehunia Obed.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do right now is add a new
Add a
user.
new user. So we use
Okay.
this button for adding a user.
Okay.
All right. Click on this. Oh, user name. Username.
Mhm.
So let's go with Obed Ahonia. The first one was Ahonia Obed. So now let's make it Obed Ahonia from
What
there.
happens here is that we can add a
Mm-hmm.
maximum of 10 users at a go.
Oh, okay. With
Yeah, 10
regards to
users.
this
Yeah.
add
Which
user.
yes.
Oh,
So let's
okay.
let's see.
Yeah, I'm just clicking on to see. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Is it up to 10?
So let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I think it'll be more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This here is 9. Okay, it's 10. It's 10.
Good. So with the management console, but then I think with the
Mm-hmm.
API,
You
with the
can
command line,
add
we
as
can
many
do
as
more than that.
possible.
And the maximum I am, if you are aware, we can create four. One single account is 5,000.
Come again, come again.
The maximum users we can create for an account
Mm-hmm.
is 5,000.
5,000. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
5,000.
yeah.
I see. All right. So go ahead. The first thing is the username. Then after the username, you should select access type.
Okay,
With access type, we are looking at how this we expect this user to be accessing the various resources on our AWS account. And there are two major ways, either the programmatic access or the management console, which is like this platform that we are using. That's the web-based platform that Amazon has provided us to interface all their resources. So
Okay.
for this particular user, then the programmatic access is either through the AWS APIs, the CLI, then SDKs
SDK.
and other development tools.
So in that
And
case, you'll be signing in with a key, two
okay,
keys
okay,
actually,
access key.
an access key and then a secret key.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, how would the person get that? That's a question that's always on my mind. Will you generate the access key later?
It will be generated just like you generate the password.
Oh, okay. So
It will be
as we
generated
go
like
ahead right
when,
now. Okay.
yes, as we go ahead, you will come across it.
Okay. So with a password to okay, let's stick with the auto-generated password.
Okay.
Then require password resets. Oh, is that all?
Yeah. So next we go to permissions.
Next,
Yeah.
okay, permissions for the
Yes,
user.
this way we are
Oh,
going to
okay.
give the user the permission.
Mm. So from our last discussion, we saw that with permissions, like the permissions are what they can do and cannot do, but you put all of these permissions into together as a single document, and that document is known as a policy.
The policy.
And with regards to policy, we saw that there are two possible types of the policies. That is the inline policy, then the managed policy, right?
Yeah.
Then under the managed policy, we have the AWS managed
Manage
policy
one
and
and
the
then
customer
the
managed
customer
policy.
manage policy.
Okay. All right. So now for permissions, I think okay. Another way that we can set permissions is to apply the permissions to a group, and we
Yes.
can put the user in that group.
We attach the
So
user.
to the group.
Yeah.
We learned about identities the last time, and groups were part of the identity, so we can identify users based on their groups. So what do we do now? Well, attach
Now you
existing
set
policy, copy permissions from
permission from
which
existing.
one are we going with?
So can you increase your screen a little bit?
Oh, okay. Let's
Control
see.
plus. Yeah. Good. Copy permission
Mm,
from attach existing policy. Attach
should it,
direct
it, it should use attach add user to group
because we don't have a
or
group. We don't have a group.
oh
We've not
okay.
created a group.
But
Well,
this was a group that we
we can
created.
create
We can create a
really
new group.
okay.
This
That's fine.
this is the the very first time we were creating our accounts, we created a group and attached
Oh
this
really?
policy. Yeah,
Oh
so
okay.
if we attach it to this group, it means it's going to have all the administrative access.
Administrative assets. Okay.
But
Okay.
since we already using one with all the administrative access, I'm thinking we should try something else.
Yes,
So
certain
maybe let's
specifically a
create a
resource.
new group.
Yes, for a specific
Yeah.
resource.
So for a specific resource,
Yeah.
um, okay, let's assume that this person is our network administrator. So this group is for network administrators. I don't know if they accept spaces in the names. Create a group and say they didn't give how administrators. Okay, right. Network
And then
administrators.
our policy.
Okay, we'll have to attach a policy. Let's check. Will we have some for
Wait.
VPC?
Yes, they
VPC since
yes, VPC.
oh, I wish is it because I've zoomed in? Okay, so this is Amazon DMS VPC management rule. Okay, VPC full access. Since
Mhm.
this person is or this group is for the network
Administrator, network
administrators,
administrator. Yeah.
so we give them VPC full access.
Full access. Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Hmm.
once you have
So
increased your screen,
this button has given us a chance to create our own policy from scratch using
yes,
that.
yes, yes. JSON
Last time
code,
I was, yeah, we had
policy
some
generator, the generator.
ES. No, not the generator per se. I'm talking about the we looked at, well, how did we even call it? The attributes of the policy where we will enter all those ones by ourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
E
yeah,
S
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot. Hmm. Can you remember? Let me check my
ES,
notes. Mhm. It was ES. What?
iron policy
Okay.
document
SRAP.
attribute.
Yes. So like each of them, the first one was the is it effect,
Yeah,
service,
that's the
resource,
policy
action,
attribute,
and condition.
right?
Yeah,
That's the
policy
policy
attributes.
attribute. Yeah.
Exactly.
The effect,
So
service,
let me
resource,
just,
action, and condition.
I'm just being curious. Click on it
Okay.
to see what will come.
So it will take us to the generator, the policy generator.
Oh, okay. So this is select a
So we can
service.
do the
Is
visual
the
one,
service?
or this is not a service
Wait,
generator.
wait,
This is not
wait.
a,
I'm coming. No, I'm just looking at. They said select a service. So I'm just looking at the attribute. Did we have service? The S was for service, right?
yes, yes. There is a service.
Oh, okay. So
So the
we
service
don't
we are
set
going.
the effect. The
Yep.
first, because the first one was the effect, whether allow or deny.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
then
let's just select any
we
service. Yeah.
we can either use the visual editor
Editor,
or the
or we
JSON.
can
We
use
can
JSON.
program with JSON.
Okay.
Please increase your screen. Increase the screen.
Hmm. Yeah. So this is with JSON.
Yeah.
Coming. This is with JSON. Then for now, let's use a visual editor. I think it
Visual.
will be easier. I think the JSON, if you are working using programmatic access or the CLI, it will be
Mhm,
easier writing it in JSON. Oh,
mhm.
I think so.
I think
So let me see
it's
if I'll find VPC. Oh, VPC is not there. Oh, I have to spell it. Oh, VPC is not a service. Okay, then let's stick to EC2.
let's go through the
EC2.
let's go through this list. It might be there. I'm sure it will be there.
Oh, when you search for VP, you see EC2, you see it when you start searching EC2.
Or you
It
have to type
comes.
it in full.
I tried. Is it not virtual?
Let's swap
So, or let me type network.
network.
Oh, so there is something like network manager, network firewall. Okay. So for now, let's just go with EC2 and see. I just want to see the outcome. Then I will go to the action. So service actions. Oh, service actions. With actions, specify the actions allowed in EC2. Oh, okay. So the actions, whether they
Save,
can
read,
view, they can
start,
write, they
right?
can read. Okay. So let's say
And you
all.
can give them a full access.
Oh,
That's the full access.
then okay, that's the full access. Aha, I think when Ima was doing it, he had this issue, and I don't know why he didn't try resolving it. But I think they are just saying that specify capacity, like we haven't selected the resources.
Please
But
go back.
when
Can
is
you
it
repeat what
when
you just said? I just went off.
oh, okay, sorry. So this is it. What I'm seeing here, there are actions.
Yeah,
Okay, when you select
the
actions,
full access. Yeah.
The next thing is to select the resources. So
Mm-hmm.
the resources, some of them are not automatically selected for us. But I think when Ima was doing the last time, he didn't specify, like he didn't select the resources. So after the actions, he went on to tax and they kept giving errors.
I think he did that.
So
He did that,
no,
but
he
then
didn't.
one thing that what
I
happens is
mhm,
mostly if you are
mhm.
given full access to a resource, they have to question
Mhm.
you. You see what comes. You see they have this access level privilege that you give minimum
Yes,
privilege
yes,
to a user. Yeah, so mostly
yeah.
they will alert you. Mostly that's what they do.
I
When
get
you're
it,
given,
but I remember this was, if you like go and check the video. I remember this was on the screen. Like you see right now, as we are having this. If you go ahead to do the task, they will give you that error message. Yes, exactly. This is the error message he had. This policy
mhm,
contains an error. You are required to choose a resource.
mhm.
But he
Okay.
he really didn't pay attention to it. I think because he was in a
Okay.
hurry, he just
Okay.
went on to choose a different policy instead. So let's see, how do we choose those resources. Oh, okay. So we click on the resource drop down, then say all resources. Aha, so this is the warning you are talking about. They're saying, as a best practice, define permissions for only specific resources in specific
Exactly.
accounts.
Exactly.
Alternatively, you can grant least privilege using
Least
condition keys.
privilege. Yes.
So, but now that we have set the resources, we can go ahead. The next thing is conditions. So, what are the conditions? And
The
from
resources
what,
you've changed it from
yeah,
specific
I've
to
no, I've made it all resources.
oh okay.
But beyond that, then they're asking for the conditions. So with the conditions, the last time what we read was that is the granular permissions or something. Like,
Yes.
I think they said something like that at a very low level. So here, some of the conditions, it says MFA required. So you can enforce that a person uses an MFA when logged in. Then source IP. So you determine what IP ranges will be acceptable.
Mhm.
That means that probably after setting up your VPC and having an idea of your IP ranges, then you can limit the IPs to only IPs within your company's network using this
Yeah.
particular request
And
conditions.
then if you are working with an external user as well, you can set a
Oh,
specific
okay. You can include
IP for
their
them as
specific
well.
IP.
IP,
Okay,
yes,
to
for them
allow
to get
them
access.
inside.
Yes.
Okay, so here we can see
And
that we can add an IP range from
control
this to
IP.
that.
Okay. And then the MFA, you can require it for them, but you can enforce it for them, right? Or
Hmm. Once you are requiring it, that means they need to have an MFA set because it says requires console users and those with temporal credentials to authenticate with an MFA device. So once we set this, it means that anyone who wants to access it will have to like use the multi-factor
use
authentication. So
MFA.
probably, yeah. So I'm thinking that if we set it as such, when the user is trying to log in again and they are supposed to do the password reset, they are probably going to be asked to set up MFA
Yes, they will be
using a
asked. They will
device.
be asked to set up, but then the admin cannot implement it from his
Oh,
end.
of course, of course.
Mhm.
MFA is a personal something.
Yes.
Whose phone number are you going to use, and
Mhm.
or whose MFA device are you going to use?
Of,
So
yeah.
the end user will have to do that by himself. Okay, so let's click this and get back. We'll just go. Okay, it's creating a
The tag.
policy tagging. Okay, I remember
Increase
it.
your screen. Increase your screen.
Hey, you still cannot see.
And I think
You need lens.
I'm thinking about the future when you have to visit these things because once it's recorded
Oh,
and
yeah, but it's visible enough, I guess.
really
This is
Okay.
150,
Eh,
150%.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we have these two. This part has taken an aspect of the screen, image. So the
Oh,
tag.
that's on your end. That's on your end.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. But the viewers too will see it as such. Let me see if we choose this will it work.
No, no, no. Let it be. Let it be.
Okay. All right.
So the tags.
So the tagging, I don't know if there is any recommendation as to how it's supposed to be, but what I saw Imad do was he'll put probably an identifier here, something that will identify this. So let's
Yeah.
say, what
And
did we do
it's
there?
not. It's not
EC2.
compulsory.
Yeah, it's not compulsory to tag, right? It's recommended you tag. So EC2 policy, say something like that. Then
You
probably
can
for
even use
network
only the value.
administrators. Come again?
You can even ignore the key and then insert only the value.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
think here they've written the value is optional, but they didn't write so for the key. So I don't think you see you must specify a key if you want to enter a key, but you can
Really.
ignore the value. But the key needs to be specified. So Ima will usually write through here. That's what I realized from the meeting.
Mm.
Mm. Is that all?
Yeah.
You can add up to 49 more tags. That means for
So
each
50 tags.
resource, you can tag 50 tags. Okay, then we'll go to next. Review policy. So this would be a name we give to the policy. Hmm. So EC2 network admin policy. Let's say that. I hope when we are done, we can delete the policy.
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay, so now I think we are ready. Should I click on create policy or is there any other thing? So there's a
That's all.
review. Access level is full access. The service is EC2. So this is allow. Aha. So that's what I was talking about. The first thing, that's the effect, whether
The
you want
effect,
to allow or
allow or
deny. But
deny.
we didn't see it. Like when we
It,
use the visual
it,
editor, we didn't
it
see
should have
anything
been there.
that's that's what I was looking for, whether to deny or allow. But here we
Mm.
are allowing one of 330 services.
Okay.
Does it mean they have 330 services in all, or
So we are looking at, I
330
think, the
services that you
EC2.
can set the what?
EC2. So we are using
The
EC2
EC2.
out of
Mm-hmm.
EC2 full
Yeah.
access out of other services.
Yes, yes. But I mean, is the 330 the total number of services AWS has, or the total number of services that we could assign?
Okay, not sure about
Probably
that.
there are services that because we didn't even see VPC. So I'm wondering.
Ah,
Anyway,
the last time, that brings us to a question. Do you remember the last time I said a user, an IAM user cannot create a VPC?
mm.
Remember,
You mentioned that. Yeah, I remember.
that comes in mind.
No, but here,
Well,
okay.
let's finish and then let's go back to the main console and try as well.
But we can't do that too because at the end of the day, you still be creating an IAM user.
Mm,
You get it?
yeah.
It will still be an IAM user that you are creating. So probably that could be true since we didn't find it there. But we were able to add their own policy. No, their own policy had VPC. We will go back to that one. Their own policy
Okay.
had VPC full access, and that means I don't know. Probably that in that access, if full access, then it means they have rights access, and that means they can create it. unless if that is restricted. So we've created our own
That's what
policy.
that's what I'm getting online. When you check online, an IAM user does not have the
Can I
yes
am
does not have
user
permission to create or modify a
create
VPC.
a VPC, that is can AWS IAM user create a VPC? By default, IAM users and roles don't have permissions to create or modify VPC resources. They also can't perform tasks using AWS Management Console. Hmm, what's that?
By
That's by
default.
default too.
But then over here, we've given an administrative access.
Eh, so you can do it. Don't worry. There's one way to go. I think once you set the permissions, is possible. No, I hope you've not forgotten that our accounts we are using right now are IAM users.
User, yeah,
So we will just try if we can have access to VPC, and that will prove it. By default, there obviously after creating it, they don't have access to anything unless you
yeah.
assign
By
them the
default, you don't have
permissions.
access to anything unless you assign. Yes,
Mhm. Okay, so now we have created our policy. How did we even call our policy? EC2 something.
EC2 admin, EC2
EC2
underscore
network,
admin
yes, yeah, this network admin policy. So that's the one that we created. Hmm. So these are the AWS policies. So AWS managed policy. Then this is user managed policy.
policy can be identified by the is it yellow or something? The yellow
Yeah,
button.
the AWS color. The
Yeah,
AWS color.
yeah.
Okay, so I want us to go back to our user. Then we go and assign. Did we even create the user? Was it created? Okay, no, so the user wasn't created. We moved. Okay, so this is where we were. It moved us, but now we are just going straight. So it means now we can actually search for our EC2. Hope it uses admin underscore. Oh, unless we refresh it. Hmm. EC2 underscore. Yes. So now we
And
have our own policy that we can add. But that was for us to learn how to set up policy. So we can go with the VPC. Right.
yeah,
The VPC full
I can see
access.
some VPCs there.
There are a number of policies relating to VPC.
VPC. Okay,
But this is what we are going full access.
okay,
Provides full access to Amazon VPC via the management console.
okay.
That is what it says here. I'm coming. Okay, yeah, that's what it says there. So we'll go ahead and create the group. Hmm. So if we had not, let's look at this. If we had not added the user to a group, we could have copied permissions from existing user.
From existing user.
Oh, they are saying that if we click this, we'll lose the information that we have set. And this attach existing policies directly. Would that have been that would be the inline policies? So once these two, since this copy permissions from existing user, then attach existing policies directly. These two will attach it to just the user. So that makes it more of the inline policy. Or
Directly is what I'm thinking will be the inline.
okay.
Copy permission
Yes, sir.
from another user won't be inline,
Mm-hmm.
but then the directly will be the inline because from
Okay.
another user we've already specified the policy there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
But here you are applying it that like to this user. You're just copying and coming to apply it to this user.
Hmm. Let's check it online. And when you're applying inline,
Mm. Inline policy AWS. What do they have? Um, there is the inline. Okay. So it's a
yes, I'm
policy that is embedded in an IAM identity. Embedded in an IAM identity.
which is user
That's
role
a
and then group.
user group or role. Wow. That is, a policy is an inherent part of the identity. You can create a policy and embed it in an identity, either when you create the identity or later. So inline policies can actually be applied to groups, roles, and users. So it's not just the user.
Hmm.
Initially, that was the impression I had, that when you attach it to just a user, then it
Hmm.
becomes inline. But here we are saying that an identity. So it could be a user, a group, or a role.
Role. Yeah.
Oh, the following diagram illustrates inline policies. Each policy is an inherent part of the user, group, or role. Notice that two roles include the same policy. Two roles include the same policy, but they are not sharing a single policy. Each role has its own copy of the policy. So that's what I was thinking. Now, when you copy from a different user and apply it to your user, like it's just applied to this particular user. So I think that's the point they are making. Even though they have the similar policy, they are not sharing it. And probably once they are not sharing any of their rules, then that will also be considered inline.
Okay.
So let's see the diagrams. This example, inline policy. So group admins,
Hmm.
the policy is accounts admins MFA, user Alice. I don't understand this
It's the
expression.
accounts. It accounts admin, and then they use MFA to access
Hmm.
the account.
So why do we say it's inline? That's the question. It's applied to just group admins. So this policy is applied to just group admins. I think that that's the only reason why. Oh, it's not shared with
Mm,
any other. That's the impression I'm getting. That if you say it's an inline policy, if it is not shared with any other.
I'm trying to access it at my end as well. I barely
Hmm.
see it. Okay. Mm, admin policy MFA. Group limited admin policy. Mm. How I'm seeing is that with the same, okay, uh, with the same policy, but then attaching it to another user, but then limiting them to certain things.
Hmm.
They have the same policy,
So
but then
what would
another
be the difference? The
the inline will add more or reduce the policy given to the user or the group or the role. So, for example, how I see it to be is supposing the group has full access to EC2,
Mm-hmm.
But then when we attach it to another user, we can add an inline policy specifying that
That
we
probably
can list
deny a
only or
specific.
we can write only. Yes. In that case, it limits it not getting the full access.
Mm.
That's how I see it.
Mm. But in the end, okay, okay, so the whole
It,
thing would have been probably a managed policy, but specific one that is attached to that specific user is the inline. Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes.
Okay. Let's let me see. Let's open this and see at least. Oh, I thought you were going to give us. Okay, so exam states. Remember that there are three different types of IAM policies.
Mhm.
Is that all? Managed by you and embedded in a single user group or role. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so I think we can go with what you said, which is
But then we
actually
have to
very.
be sure that being
There's a
said,
strict one-to-one relation between the entity and the policy.
the
When
policy.
you delete the user group or role in which the inline policy embedded, the policy will also be deleted. So I think that makes sense. Probably where we are right now is not where you create the inline, because that day when Ima was doing it, I saw a part that said attach inline policy. Like that was what
Yes.
it was stated. Attach inline policy. But we are not saying it yet. Let me go ahead and change that. All of these is just create policy. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
once you are done,
hmm.
you can attach it.
Okay.
Like after
Okay.
creating it, then we can attach it. I believe that's how it
Okay.
works. After the entire
All
process,
right.
we go to permissions or something.
Okay.
So let's finish with the creation.
Then we talked about Iman spoke about permissions boundaries. And he said permission boundaries are not used to set permissions, but they are supposed to be used to restrict
Restrict.
some permissions. Yeah, I think I even wrote something down. Permission boundaries. Mm. What will I even say? Yeah, so he said SCPs and permission boundaries do not give permissions, but they limit permissions. But the SCPs
Oh,
are
okay.
used with regards to the AWS
Come again.
organizations.
Uh-huh.
SCPs,
Uh-huh.
that's the
Yes.
service control
Service
policies.
control policy. Yeah, yeah.
Then
Because
permissions, they are
I
not
was
used to create permissions,
yes. So what
but
happens
they
is
are
it works just like I am. So it's used to
okay.
either whitelist or blacklist a service,
Mm, yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
yes, from what we did last time, they mentioned when in the organization you have organizational units, so you use the SCPs to specify what each organization can have access to and what they cannot have access to. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like
Yes.
setting boundaries for them. So in
Yes.
AWS organization, we use SCPs, but in
Yes.
individual accounts or
We
roles
use
or
the I am
groups,
sure.
then we are using
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Okay, so permission boundaries. Let's see. Set a permissions boundary to control the maximum permissions this user can have. This is an advanced feature used to delegate permission management to others. So this group of people, we are saying they can create user without a permissions boundary or use a permission boundary to control. So use a permissions boundary to control the maximum user permissions. Mm. So we can set our own permission boundaries here. How will I remove it?
So which means that one. adds another permission to what you already have.
Kind of like just as they were
Or
saying, this does not really set. It does not really set permissions, but it
mhm,
sets some like restrictions
boundary.
to boundaries to your permissions
Okay,
that you've been given.
so if you set a full policy, like the full, you give somebody a full access, and you want to restrict the person to,
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
well, I was
So
thinking that would be
preventing them from.
the inline.
I think that can also, but you see that over here, see something access analyzer service role policy, administrator access. Here it says use a permissions boundary to control the maximum user permissions. So we can control the maximum user permissions. So we are not setting new permissions. This over here has given them the permissions, but we can
The full access.
control their permissions, the extent, the maximum user permissions. So we'll come in here, meaning I'm guessing that these ones will be related to all the permissions that we have given the user.
Mm-hmm.
Then now we can restrict that this user can do this, they cannot do this, they can do only
Okay.
this. Like,
Mm. Okay. Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. But how do I even go back? Because I don't want to set any of them. Or is this selected by default? Okay. So
Okay.
now
Let's go to the next tab.
next tag, next tags. What do we do? We are adding a user. So how
Mm-hmm.
do we tag it? I am tax at key value, tax angle. This is what add user. So uh, uh, I am user VPC access. Then the value is true. Okay. Let's review. The username is Obed Ehonia. Access type, we have programmatic access and
And
AWS management console access. Then the console password type will be auto-generated. We require that there is a password reset. Then permissions boundary is not set. So we didn't set a permissions boundary. Okay. The group that we assigned is network administrators.
mm-hmm.
Managed policy. I am user change password. So I think this was attached by default because we did this. Because we
Yes.
didn't go to select this. But probably because
Yes.
we require password reset, it was attached by default. Then the tag. I think we are okay with it.
Okay.
Create user. Great. How do we oh this is what I was
So
looking
you
for.
have to download the CSV.
Yeah, exactly. Then let me open incognito. Try logging in with what we just downloaded. Yes. Incognito. Okay. Hmm. So the CSV, since it contains the login details, I won't be showing it publicly. But what I have here, they have the password, the username, the password, the access key ID,
And then, yes.
the
Secret key.
secret access key,
Yeah.
the console login
Login
link.
details.
So
Yeah.
let's copy the console login link and paste it here. Does that mean it won't ask? Oh, nice, 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 nice. Then from now on, I have to be keeping the console login link because that keeps the ID, account
Eh,
ID. That's usually
why?
my
You didn't
headache.
know. You didn't know.
No,
That's what
me,
I've been using.
I was always going to
Ah,
copy the
oh,
ID.
okay. Oh, That's what I've
Then
been
we'll have
using.
the username, which is Obedonia. Obedonia. And we have the password.
You set your password.
Sign in. Oh, old password is this. New password is this. When you are resetting this type of password, they don't give you those limits to password. You see, I just entered a password, but ideally they would have told you that, oh, your password is short, your password
Short.
is this. Here they are not saying anything. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
aha, this is the error I was looking for, error message I was looking for. Why is it hiding out there? Password does not conform to the account's password policy. Yes. So let's paste the old password, type in a new password. Okay, great. So we are practically done with creating the I am user. Good job, good job, good job. Is there any other thing with regards to that? Yeah, creating I am
So
user.
let's go to the console. Um, what access do we give to the user?
Hmm.
EC2, right? What is EC2?
VPC full access.
Is
VPC
VPC.
full access.
Okay.
Hmm.
So aside VPC, let's
So
try any resource in the team.
EC2.
Mhm. And let's try creating. Mhm. Perfect.
API
That was
error.
what we
So
expected.
we don't
That was
have
what we expected.
access to these ones.
That's fine.
Well,
Yes,
what
yes.
about I am? Will we have access to I am to
I
create
don't believe
users?
so. No, you won't.
Mhm. You do not have the permission required to perform this operation.
Yeah.
Ask your administrator to add permission. So now let's go
Mhm.
to VPC. VPC. No, okay. So we have access to
Okay, so
the VPC.
so now once we are where we can use the VPC, let's go back to our administrative console and then check how we can add the inline. Because somewhere, I think permission or so, we have the inline policy there. So let's check how we can add
Okay, so
the.
the one that we used here, is that what you're referring to, or the roots account itself?
No, not root account.
This
This one.
particular one. Okay.
Yes. So let's click on the user we created.
Hmm. So there's the user.
Click on the user. The network is becoming slow. So
Hmm.
the security credentials.
Security
Add inline.
credentials.
Have you
But
seen over
listen,
here?
where?
No, no, come down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Up.
Oh, okay,
Up.
okay, okay, yeah. So
What
now that
there?
we have,
Permissions.
once we
So
can, we
permission.
head then. Okay. Add inline policy.
So let's click on add. Did you click on add
Hmm.
inline policy?
Yeah, that's why I clicked. And it's similar to the other one that we did with adding the policy. So
So see
let's choose a
down here.
service.
So it
Let's.
adds additional.
Mhm,
Ah, from what I was saying, is the opposite rather.
mhm,
You can add extra
mm.
services to it rather.
Okay, but I think you can deny as well because the policy should allow us the effects of the policy. You should set whether you are allowing or denying.
Mm.
So probably when we after we create the permission, can't we see the JSON format? Otherwise,
Okay.
we just check the
So,
JSON format
so
and see if we can
what
change
what
allow to deny.
what what I wrote here when I was writing notes was the
Mm-hmm,
inline policy. You create and manage your own policy to a single identity. To
mm-hmm.
a single identity. So
Yeah.
under the user, we can add or
What it means, I think what it means here is that right now this policy that we are going to create, whether it's allow or deny, it can be applied to someone outside, like this particular user, because we are attaching it to a user. Once we are attaching it to the user, it will be solely for the user.
for the user.
That's what I'm saying. It will, when we're creating the first one, because we use the group, it was like a general thing that we were creating, and the policy will be available if we are going to create another group and attach it.
Yes.
But
But
here,
then
I
in the
think it
case
will
of
be
this one,
directly.
specific, as it
Uh-huh.
stated it a
So
single identity.
exactly, I
So it makes
think it
sense.
would be visible if we are using the JSON, probably under the principal. We'll see that it's just that user. I
Mm.
hope after creating this, we can see the VPC, the JSON file. So now I'm adding service EC2 to it.
Easy. Okay.
Then actions, let's give them all
Oh, okay.
access for now. Then resources to all. Uh, we won't set any conditions. Okay. So review policy. Uh, Obed inline policy. Oh, let me add EC2. Okay, that'll be the name. So you can go ahead and create a policy.
With the policy.
Hmm. So you see how this is. Oh,
So
this
attach
was
the
the okay.
policy.
This was attached. This was
Oh,
attached not by us. It was automatically attached because we said we should. How do you call it?
be able to change password
Change password exactly.
once you log on. Yeah.
Then then
But still,
groups.
we applied it. You could have
Yeah.
denied it. So we applied it.
Okay. Okay. But what I'm interested in is the JSON. Can't we? I really know how the JSON. Okay. You see the effect. The effect is allow.
Mhm.
So we
So we
can change
can
it.
deny.
We can edit it to the
So for
resource
now,
is everything.
so yeah.
but we are not seeing the service. We are not seeing the service.
Is it not SID?
SID, visual editor. SID, probably source ID. Let's go to edit. Um, the resource everything. Action is EC2. EC2 everything. So action is the write, load, read.
Yes, yes.
So we are given everything.
It
Then the
depends
effect
on
is
the
allow.
so with regards to the action, it depends on the resource you are using, because if you are using S3, the effects you are going to give the service will be different from when you are using EC2.
Mm. Is it not all list? Because so far that's what I've been saying. List, read,
Let's read right.
write. Do they
Okay.
ever change? That's what I've
I'll,
been saying.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm listening.
Okay. Anyway,
So what I
I
want
can
us to
go
do
on.
is that we can leave it to allow and access EC2. Once we are done,
Okay,
we
so
come
let's
here and then change it to deny and
change
see.
it to deny. Okay. So let's come back, search for EC2 here. EC2. Earlier on when we did it, we had API error.
Now it's
This time
working.
around we can.
Okay.
We don't have
So
access
now
to
let's,
load balances.
yes.
Okay. So we should go back and edit the policy.
Yes, and deny.
Policy. Edit this policy.
Jason.
JSON. Deny. Save changes. Okay.
Let's
And go
refresh
back to
the browser.
either refresh this. Let's see. Hmm. That's pretty smart.
Mhm.
So it's working.
So right now, what I'm looking at is, in this case, we could have choose with regards to the VPC, or let's say, supposing our first resource was EC2, we could have choose EC2 again, and then the list read, put, and those things, we can
Mm.
limit it,
Limit some of
like,
them. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
we can limit it and attach to it,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that specific
That
user,
would that
not
would
all
be
the
the
users.
inline. Yes. Yeah.
Because at a department, we want somebody, maybe the head, to access everything, but then those under the boss or the
Mm.
administrator of the office,
Okay.
we want them to access specific resources,
Okay.
uh, yeah, to get specific
That makes
permissioning.
sense.
Try to put it,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
The inline.
All right.
Now we understand why the inline is given to a specific or a single identity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's the next thing?
So now we are going to work
Then
on
the
hosting a
next
website.
lab.
Yeah.
I think the next lab is MFA. Adding an MFA.
Oh, okay.
But I'm coming in. Kindly give me a few seconds. Let me put food in the microwave. I'm feeling hungry right now. Man got to eat. Hi, hi, hi.
Yeah, you're back.
I'm back. I left my phone there. Anyway, in the next, I've set it for 10 minutes. So in the next 10 minutes, I'll have to get up again. But let's do something within that period. So setting up MFA for the account we just created,
Mm.
how would we do that?
So
This
let's go
account does
to
not have IAM access. That
which
means
account?
you can't even control this particular account.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the new one that we created doesn't have IAM access.
But then let's try and see since we enforce that as an admin, since we enforce that, let's try
We
and see.
didn't choose the require MFA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't. I think if probably if we had, it would been asked to set it
Do
up.
that.
Uh, see, there is no permissions for all of the things. Let's check settings.
I'm sure there will be a way around it. Localize default rating
Mm,
display language
that's all.
hmm,
No have access to anything.
account
So
billing.
let's get back to
We
this
can do that
and
from
see.
the
Yeah,
admin console.
if we change it to require
Yeah.
MFA.
The permission and those stuff, I think we can do something of that sort.
Come again.
The permissions where we're able to add the inline
Mm-hmm.
policy.
Yeah.
I think let's check from that area whether we can do something
Okay.
else for the user.
The MFA has not been
Uh-huh.
set.
Okay. So let's click on it and see. Let's click on the user
Okay.
groups.
So do we use general permissions or we should go with inline policy?
Create policy. Generate policy based on crowd trail. Let's go up. Security.
Either
Let's check security
okay,
credentials.
assign MFA device, not assigned.
Uh-huh. Manage so we can assign virtual. Do you have the app? We are
Yeah,
using
I
we are
have the
we are
Google
Google Authenticator. We are
Google
using the
Authenticator.
virtual MFO.
Okay,
We are using the virtual.
that's if you want to use the app. What
Yeah.
about this? That's if you are
The
using the
security
YubiKey.
YubiKey. Yes, what we talked about the last time.
Okay,
YubiKey. Yeah.
so continue. What I'm thinking is that after we set this, probably a new permission will be attached. Oh, I'm supposed to.
Yes, it will. It will because if yes, it will.
Then I have to
You have
go
to get
get
your phone.
my.
Yeah, sure, sure. You have to get.
Let me go get my phone. Uh,
You explicitly. You explicitly. Hold on.
I'm back and I have to scan this. I hope it works from where I'm sitting. Okay, I've gotten it. Amazon Web Services. The type 2 consecutive codes. One, seven. Okay. But wait, after we set the device using this account, so assuming I was an administrator and I'm assigning it to another person, now that I've done it with my own account, how will the person have access? Anytime they want to log in, they have to call me to give them that access. Is
Not
that the
really.
case?
Not really.
No, but we've configured it to use.
So let's sign out and
Uh,
then sign it and see.
okay, let's sign out. Sign out.
I saw security credentials there. It used to be there. Oh,
Come again.
I saw some security options there. I'm wondering whether it
I
used to be there.
okay. I don't remember seeing it. Anyway, let me copy this instead. And username. Okay. Username and password. Password. Sign in. Oh, you see?
Perfect.
But this time around, I set it on my account. I was the one who did it. For
Mm-hmm.
that matter, the end user will always have to request an MFA from me to be able to access it. You get it?
Yeah, but then there should be a way around it.
No, that means that we would probably have to give the person IAM permissions. Then the person will do it by themselves. That is the password not working. Oh, what is that? What's happening?
Or the time has elapsed. You have to use a new one. You have to request for a new one.
Oh, I've forgotten. No, 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 no. I changed the password. I forgotten that I changed the password. I'm just copying the old one that we were sent.
Mm.
Okay. You don't have any of the IAM permission, so this person can't do anything, even on their own account,
Mm.
unless we grant them that permission. And I think that's also cool. A password policy is a set. Well, okay. You need permissions to set the security token service. That means that for password, since we gave them the policy for
They
password,
can.
they can change the password,
Mhm.
but every other thing cannot be changed. That's cool. And I think this would be more relevant when you are setting permissions to roles.
Mm.
So you don't give any IAM uh, permissions. Just whatever they are supposed to go and do. If it's VPC, VPC, EC2, EC2, just go
Mm.
there and go and do it. Don't be touching things.
Yeah.
And even if I do the MFA on my device, it means anytime you're logging in, you need my permission before you log in.
Which means you have to be careful when setting up account. Mostly, it
Yeah,
should be required. You have to add it to. For security reasons, you should add.
yeah, yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
it helps. But
Please,
I,
my food
I,
is
I believe,
ready.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
then you
I'm
can post it.
listening.
But I
No
believe there will
problem.
be a way around it. I believe there will be a way
No, I
around it.
think once we give the user I am privileges, you should be able to set those things. So where's permissions? Let's add I am user. Oh, so it's not permissions. Inline
No, how?
policy because the permissions are like broad ones.
Mhm,
So let's add an inline
mhm.
policy. Choose I am, then say all actions. Give them access to all resources.
No,
Then
I was
review
looking at
policy. Mm-hmm.
specific. Maybe we can get MFA there or we can't get MFA there.
Mm,
Let's try and see whether we can get it.
from where would we find that?
Okay,
That's the
specific.
question. As in the service I
Spec-
doubt where.
no, okay,
The
right
service
here.
is I am. The service is I am.
Yes.
Then the actions,
Okay, from the actions up there.
permissions
Select all.
management. No, the actions, it depends on whether it's list that you're
List
looking
with
at and you
that.
look for. So you see this one, the person can list MFA devices. But let's go to right.
So list MFA devices.
Right. They can add ID, this create group, create role, create summer provider, create
Because I'm
user,
sure there will be
create
one
virtual
for,
MFA device. This is
yes,
create
there will
virtual
be one
MFA
for it.
device.
So we give the user only that one.
Hmm.
So let's type MFA up there. It will give us the options for MFA.
Okay. So list
Hmm.
MFA device, create virtual MFA device.
Create virtual MFA. Yeah.
Is that all? What about deactivate MFA device? So that we are able to
So
deactivate.
we want to give access to MFA, so we can even select all.
Oh, okay. Um,
Enable, yes.
okay. Then resources, all the resources necessary. Let's go ahead. Say OBED MFA policy. Okay. So we're done.
Yeah. Refresh.
Uh,
Let's see.
um, so let's see here. How do we find MFA?
Account settings. Let's see account settings.
Permissions. Issues with permissions. Ooh.
Or it's going to be upon sign up when you are signing
Sign
in for.
that that's what I'm also thinking right now. So when we are signing in, we have the option to make those changes. But
And
let's
since we
see.
have attached hours, don't we have to remove hours from it?
But I'm also thinking because we gave her permission to delete and disable, we can override whatever we created initially.
Oh,
By the way,
okay.
let me
Oh,
go get my food before we
all right.
continue.
All right.
Mm. Sorry.
Yeah.
Food is ready. You're invited. Right now, you're going to be doing more of the talking.
All right.
Ha 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 ha. Let me copy the URL, paste it here. Username,
Username, password.
password, still. There's no option to.
I'm wondering whether we have to remove it from the admin aspect.
But if we remove it, that is just when you are logging in. We've just enforced it at when you are logging in. So whether we remove it or not, it won't affect what is inside the content. I mean the
Mm,
console when you log in. So now where how to it's left to us to figure out where we will find the MFA. And I think MFA is not a service on its own. So how
yes,
do
it
you
comes under I am.
you do not have permissions required to perform this operation. Ask your administrator to add permissions. Why? Well, I thought we've done that.
Creating account.
Hmm?
Uh-huh.
You're saying that we do not have permissions to. Why do you say we do not have permission to when we have created permission for that?
You have MFA.
Hmm. So I'm thinking that this is where we probably will have been able to change the things.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So we are not able to see because we need this list access keys.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have the permission required to fill on this. So this is for it's not authorized to get account summary. So this is account summary, and the under the okay, this is also not the MFA. So the MFA is checked, but
Ha.
where to make changes to it? I think the easiest way will be to grant the person the IAM permissions. So for now, let's just grant the IAM permissions, then we'll check if that is possible.
That would be
So
possible if you grant the
let's
user the
edit
answer.
this.
So I am all.
That's what we did initially. But now let's. Oh, okay, okay. I am. Oh, okay, yeah. So the action.
I am the star. I am with
Yeah.
star.
Okay. Okay. You were talking about the JSON. I should have
Mm-hmm.
just edited it in the JSON. I didn't think about it.
Oh, this fine. This fine.
Mm. So now this is it. I am column star.
Yeah, I am star.
Okay. Let's go back. Refresh this. Please, you're invited.
Charlie.
A hungry man once said. Yes. So now we can see the iron stuff are there. Where will we find the? How will you find the MFA?
Account settings. Do you have it here? Scroll and listen.
Nope.
Okay, let's click on the user and see users. Mm-hmm.
So that means in the first place we need access to view the user
Mm-hmm.
before we can do anything to it.
Yeah.
We can set permission boundaries, but we can add inline. Then security
Security credential.
credentials.
MFA.
So now we can manage it. So we needed access, like we needed access to users.
Mm-hmm.
Then before we could come in here to do anything. Anyway, I think it's good.
But I believe there will be a way around this. I don't know whether we didn't get the right policy from the start. There will be
That's
I think there will be a
that's why
policy that will
from
allow
how
us.
it is now. Yes, probably there is an AWS managed policy, but how we are setting our inline policy.
So let's
uh,
write it down as a question for Emmanuel when he meets this weekend. After creating a user without giving MFA access, how can you attach? How can you set up an MFA for the user?
Okay.
To add MFA user without MFA. All right, so we are done with this one. So we move on to um hosting a website in S3.
Okay.
So is the file ready, or you have to create a new one?
The HTML file.
HTML file.
Just go online, download an HTML template. I hope they don't require sign up to download.
I saw the download button there. I think the download button was behind where you clicked.
People will preach free, but when you are ready to download them, this one. This is the PSD file, but this is
Oh,
the HTML version, and it wasn't downloading.
I do have some here. Can I share it here
Mm.
through the StreamYard?
Mm. I doubt. I
It's not
doubt.
possible.
Show me how will know it. Unless maybe via Telegram. But I'm sure I can understand. This is downloading.